Now we're ready. Good evening. We call to order the Board of Trustees work session for April 29th, 2024. First is 160 South Central Avenue. You just press the button. Thank you.
My name is Christian Lanza from the Office of Lawless and Majon Architects and Engineer. Here on behalf of Teamsters Local 456, we're doing a two-story, approximately 7,000 square feet addition to their building. As you already know, if you guys are familiar with the building, we're not increasing the impervious surfaces. The use will be the dental office that's already in the building will be moving over to the lower level, and then Teamsters will be taking the upper level. They need to just expand their space. Parking, we're okay with the parking. We did all the calculations. It's on the first page of the plans. And that's pretty much it. The building, the addition will be exactly the same as the, in terms of looks of what it is there now. So we're gonna have a glass curtain wall, the same, we're looking for a manufacturer. The manufacturer is gonna provide us with the right details to make it look 100% what's there. And we're okay with the heights. We're okay with the square footages, with the setbacks. So everything is as per code. And we're here just to see if we can get approval for this addition.
Here, if I may, just in terms of the review of the matter.
I can hear you.
Oh, this is on. Oh, it's for TV. Okay,
That's fine.
I'll talk louder. So in terms of the review, environmental review, this is a type 1 action under seeker because it's more than 4,000 square feet. I don't anticipate many impacts in light of the fact that it's just a continuation of what exists. But we do have to forward the application to the county health department, county planning board, I'm sorry, in the town of Greenberg, and that's already in process. And we'll have documentation for you whenever you schedule a public hearing for adoption. But we just needed to have that extra period of time.
Thank you.
Anything else? That's it. Thank you.
Wait. The mayor's
Oh,
got
sure,
it.
sure.
Trustee Henry, any questions?
No, sir.
Thank you, sir. Trustee Fluffy?
No, sir.
Thank you, sir. Trustee Evans?
No questions.
Thank you, sir. Administrator? Council? Any department heads, any questions? What,
I would,
what's
I
your
think,
timeline?
probably the end of 30, yeah, the county has 30 days to respond. And I think this will be, Tony, would this be subject to a special public hearing? Would you expect a public hearing on this? Yeah, okay. Probably not.
We'll get back to you in a couple of weeks, because the applications went out to the other municipalities, and when they come back, then we'll give you a call and you come on back and we'll
Okay,
go through the rest. Okay?
excellent. Perfect.
Right?
Yeah,
Did you
that's
tell
good.
me to get to fill out the, is it an environmental report or?
Yeah, we're getting that from
He's-
Dave
okay.
Smith. Yeah.
Good.
Excellent.
Thank
Okay, thank you very much. And good night.
Architecture 160 South Central Avenue, Teamsters, I'm gonna get that. 51 East Main Street.
Gentlemen, Tom Chris with Premier Collection. Basically back here to, we did a mock-up of the gray paint on the building and thought it kind of looked drab. And we've kind of added some stripes to the building and some pop outs on the building in a lighter color gray. And black stripes along the 3 brick lines at the top.
Trustee Henry, okay for the agenda?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Trustee Coffee?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Trustee Evans?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. All right, Tom, you'll stay.
Thank you.
Have a nice evening. Say hi to everybody. One 25 East Main Street? $75 North Central? See. Continue on the budget. We have if everybody's okay with, page 1A3. A1620. Making that 4,000. Oh, there you are. We'll be right back to you. A1620 in the budget book. We're gonna go from 11 to 4. Or 14, whatever it is, I forget the number. Make it, we talk about making it 4,000.
Mayor, could you repeat that number? Because I just have printouts. I don't have the book.
A1620.
Mhm.
It's on page 1A3. A1620-11.
No objections to the reduction.
You found the page. Trustee Henry, okay with that change?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Trustee Coffee
Yes, sir.
and trustee Evans already mentioned. All right, we'll pause for a second. You guys come on back up. 125 East Main Street.
Good evening, everyone.
Good
Good
evening.
evening.
How you guys doing?
Well, how are you?
Good.
We're just wondering what's gonna be the next project you're gonna build.
That we don't know just yet, but we want to make sure this one is as nice as it can be when we're done for now.
You did a great job on the other one.
The exterior facade's already been approved. They're just here for the wall
Just for the
signs.
signage.
Trustee Henry, okay for the agenda?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Trustee Coffee?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Trustee Evans?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. All right, you all set? Thank you. Let's make an appointment and he'll do all the paperwork with you.
Perfect. Thank you, guys. Have a good evening.
Thank you, you too.
Thank you.
You're welcome. $75 North Central come in yet? No? Okay. Judge, want to join us? Yeah. Judge Vilat, thank you for taking time out of your evening to come visit us.
Contrary to popular belief, I'm spending a lot of time here. I want to thank you for allowing me to make this presentation as the presiding judge. I want you to know that I'm here and everything I say is in response to a very simple question. What is in the best interest of the Village Court of Elmsford? Period. My term ends early 2025. I am not running for reelection, period. I stand here before you today, not only as the presiding judge, but as an advisor to this village, because I fear what you may do. So I want you to hear that. I want you also to know throughout this presentation, I'm going to be using the word professional. That's what I am. That's the way I live. That's the way I practice. That's what you're going to hear. I hope you'll appreciate what I'm trying to bring to you. Nothing I say is going to inure to my personal benefit. I was told that you don't have the power to give the presiding judge a raise. It doesn't matter. I wouldn't take it. And I'm going to talk about my philosophy for money for the two positions. But I'm out. And I want you to understand how this court operates and what's happening. There's trends that we can't control that's going to cause this court to be active much more often. I want to bring it to your attention. In my presentation, I have an exhibit. I'd like you to mark it and put it in. I'm going to tell you things. If need be, I'll do it under oath, testify in effect. And I'm going to ask you to come in the back. I want you to see the physical condition of this court. You decide if it's acceptable. You will see two things when you go in the back with me after I make my presentation. The first is there's no room. You'll see that there's another room. It's a storeroom. The second thing you'll realize is how complex the court is. I get the impression that people think that it's just an open window where somebody receives some cash for parking tickets. You have a full service operating court, and you'll see the amount of detail of forms, of procedures that the clerk has to follow. It is astounding. I think it'll be a little bit of an eye-opener for you regarding the court. I think it'll change your whole impression of what goes on here. This is not a Wednesday morning court anymore. Now, I respect the difficult job that you have in cutting up the pie. And I'm not going to go out of my lane and say anything to you in any way, shape, or form. I would like you to know that. And I also want you to know, again, as a professional, I don't look for fault or blame. It doesn't matter. As a professional, let's work together to deal with situations. Let's cooperate. Let's communicate. So however it happened, the back physical facilities occurred. That's in the past. Let's start going forward. I'm going to start in a second, and the procedure the topics I'm going to lay out is the reputation of the court before and after me, current changes affecting the court operations that we have no control over, and an explanation of the benefits. There is an elephant in this room right now, and I'm going to talk about it, so make sure we get it out of the way, because it shouldn't affect us, any of us. In the short time that I've been here in this building, not as a politician, I've heard stories. This one complains about that one. The other one files a complaint against this one. To me, that's not professional. I would never do that. I have power as a presiding judge to hold people in contempt. After I finish, I leave, speak to Dan. I actually have the power where if you did something inappropriate at the wrong time in a judicial situation, I can cite you for contempt and I can give you an all expense paid week in the Valhalla. I would never do such a thing. I have the power. I would never do such a thing. As a professional, I've been involved in some of the biggest cases in this country. You've heard of them. I'll gladly talk to you about it over coffee. And in these big cases with a lot of money and a lot of pressure, people they explode. They lose it. As a professional, you put it aside. You don't take it personal. You have thick skins. You understand everyone's doing their best and you go forward. No animosity, no nothing. There was an incident here last Wednesday. And I'm telling you, it's nothing. And I don't want, if anyone tries to make something out of it, whatever powers I have as the judge, I'll use to suppress it. I had an unfortunate incident with your village administrator. I was sitting right where the mayor was, acting as a judge, not in open court. 3 o'clock in the afternoon, we had finished court. I had my court computer open. I was preparing for this. I was preparing, doing judicial administration. I had my clerk set up next to me because that room is so small, it's impossible to work in. Mr. Mills came at me, yelled at me. Everybody heard it. That's why it's the elephant in the room. Nobody heard it. I never would have said a thing about it. Forget it. It means nothing to me. I can work with him any day of the week, no problem. He's been here for a long time. He has his credibility. You know what he can do. I know that. He had a bad moment. That's okay. I'm sure in my life, I've had some bad moments too. I want to make sure I'm not going to play politics in this building. He's fine with me. I have no complaints. I have no issues with him, period. Okay, let's get that out of the way. I've heard some people have come to me. I'm not playing agendas here at all. Now, just as a lighter note, if any of you doubt that I have this power, while it's being recorded, with Dan next to me, stand up, curse me out, and you win an all expense paid weekend at Valhalla. Okay, so now we got that out of the way. It's never going to happen. There is a way, though. There is something, though, that came out of that. I was listening to him when he was saying these things to me. And now I'm concerned. Now, I have the easy job. What is in the best interests of the court? You have the difficult job. And I should respect it. You have to decide, do you want to go back to that ticky-tock of a court that you had before you brought me in? Or do you want to maintain the excellence that we've been able to achieve? And I'm going to tell you some great stories about what we've done. I was approached by business people in Elmsford, friends of mine. And they kept coming to me saying, we need a judge. We need a real judge. We need a judge. I understand you were in an emergency situation. You did the best you could. I commend you all for it. I have no criticism in any way, shape, or form. But you know what you got. You know what you had. So these people came to me and said, this is intolerable. You got to help us. I said, I'm 74 years old. I'm retired. Got to help us. I see these people every day. All right, I'm here. I'm practicing over 52 years. I've been very lucky, very fortunate. I've had a very good career. I was special counsel, Judiciary Committee in the Assembly. In 1978, when a major dispute broke out between the Assembly and the court system, I was a young guy. They put me in the middle. Lo and behold, I settled it. 1978, this was the biggest, it was in the Law Journal front page. They were fighting cats and dogs. I've written statutes. I've co-authored statutes. I've written articles that have been published in the Law Journal. I've been successful in a lot of litigation. I lived courts. I know courts. Like a surgeon knows an operating room, I can tell you in 5 minutes whether that nurse that just walked in I'm going to let that person operate or participate or not. I can tell you immediately where everything should be and how it should be. So I came here with that attitude. Now, the court was known before me as to be non-cooperative, inefficient, unreliable, and the lawyers knew there was a very low threshold to practice. They'd show up late. They weren't prepared because the way the judge was. Now, let me tell you what we've done. I'm going to tell you some stories, and I hope you're happy. It pleases me to tell you this. I say that the reputation now of Elmsford is we're the best in the county. Everyone knows it. And let me tell you the stories. First, anecdotally, I can't prove this. I'll swear this happened. I tell you, I belong to clubs here, cigar clubs. You could probably smell the cigar. I was smoking outside. This has happened to me in the last 3 months, at least 5 times. I'm smoking, sitting in the club, and all of a sudden we have members who are on the job and retire. And one of the guys comes to me, he's on the job in, I forget which town, Westchester, comes over to me, he says, they asked me who you are. I said, you were the judge of Elmsford. They said they want to meet you. County. I said, "Oh, nice to meet you. We've heard all about you." Well, me? Well, the court. We hear the court's open. We appreciate it. This is so great. I keep hearing that. Now, that's just anecdotally. But I want to tell you the way we work with the police here. I swore an oath I'd be available 24/7, and I am. And I want to tell you some stories about it. Last weekend, for example, Friday night, 10 to 7, my girlfriend and I are in northern Westchester. We come into a restaurant, we put the order, phone rings. I look at it, Village of Elmsford. Uh-oh. Take the call, it's the police. Judge, we have a search warrant. You have to sign. We need you to review it and sign it. Okay. Fellas, how about tomorrow morning? No, time is of the essence. Okay. To their credit, this police department, they said to me, we'll come to you. Nice, except for one thing. I don't want to sit in an Italian restaurant and read the details of a search warrant, which has significant constitutional issues. And if they had come up to Northern Westchester and I had rejected that warrant, how would they have the time to come back and correct it to bring it back if they had to do this times of the essence? So I said, no problem. I'll come to you. I came here at 8 o'clock. Sergeant, I believe it was Resigno, right? Am I saying it right? Okay. He presents the search warrant. Beautiful, detailed, excellent. So I signed it. I looked up at him and I said, you know, you're going to hurt me with this, aren't you? He says to me, what do you mean? I said, I signed it. I came in from dinner. I signed this. You're going to promptly execute on this. You're going to find the goods that you think you're going to find. You're going to arrest the guy and you're going to force me to come back tomorrow. You're going to hurt me. No, judge will never do it. Sure enough, what happened? Next morning, had to come in, got here 11 o'clock to do the arraignment. We didn't get out till 3. That's last week. Weekend before that, I'm in my apartment, 6 o'clock, my phone rings. A bail bondsman. What are you calling me for? He's got a bond he needs to post to get a guy out of jail. He needs a judge's signature. I say, call the police department. They'll refer you to my clerk, who'll refer to me. He does that, comes back. My clerk was attending a clerk's conference in Niagara Falls. Okay, he's got a problem. He's got a bail. I shouldn't be in jail now. I said, fine. I met him 10:30 in Elmsford, went through the paperwork, signed it, took photographs, got copies, and sent him on his way. It turns out the jail rejected it. So now this poor guy, the bail bondsman, he doesn't know what to do. He calls up my clerk in Niagara Falls. So she starts working from Niagara Falls, calls the jails and trying to get them to accept the papers. In the end, they refused. Okay? In the end, they refused. He had to go there Monday. He came to court, and then went there. That's just the last 2 weekends. Wait, and the warrant with Officer Resigno, I really don't remember if it was 3 weeks ago, 4 or 5, but just give you an idea what's happening now. The point is, the police in this village know they have a reliable, dependable court, period. And all the other jurisdictions now know it. There's been tremendous cooperation recently between the police departments of Elmsford and Greenburgh. I'm not privy to the details, but I've heard about some joint operations. Our reputation is so good that Greenburgh last Wednesday sent us a case to arraign for them. Greenburgh said, can you help us? We said, of course. Everyone knows it. Now, I'm saving the best story for last. Private attorneys who come here now, know this completely different court. I come here at 7:30 in the morning every Wednesday and I pull out every case and I sit there and I review every case and I write notes. I have it totally detailed down. Now, it only takes about an hour because the cases are recurrent. So you look at them once, I remember them from 2 weeks ago, and so you write your notes. Doesn't take long, but I have it down cold. There is no waste of time. I stand out starting about 8:30 in the morning and I greet everybody who comes into this courthouse. Everybody. Defendant, litigant, policeman, whatever. The private lawyers, I always introduce myself to them and I make sure they sign in. And then I say to them, remember, you got to speak to the DA, get your stuff going, we're inefficient. And these lawyers know they come here, they take care of business. They get called at 9:30, no waste, in and out, they're gone. The practice that they have is a most difficult way of making a living you could imagine. You think because we're lawyers, everything's easy and it's gold. It's not. These people work real hard. And this court is known for efficiency. They love to come here. They practice law. I require you better know the law. You better know the facts. You make your presentation. And let's move on. Well, let's take care of an issue. They all know it now. Now, this is one motion. You want to do it? You want to do it? I'll give it to you. You do. This is one motion on a criminal case. You know how many hours it's going to take to read this? And you don't read it like a newspaper. You're taking notes. You're trying to define issues. You're writing down cases. One case. When you finish your initial notes, you define the issues. Now you got to start doing legal research. Now you finish the legal research. Now you got to write your decision. You think this is done in 3 hours? You're kidding. That's just one. We got others in there. That's just criminal. The reason for that is they come to practice law here now. There's no more schlocking it out and winging it. This is a court of the law, and I'm the presiding judge, and I will take nothing but the finest legal performances here, and they all know it. Everyone comes to practice here. They make motions. They expect the right decision based on the law. They're going to get it. In addition to these coming in, we have other situations. At any time, a tenant can come in and request an order show cause. Anytime. It's time of the essence. I have to come in wherever I am, I have to review it to sign it. We're getting a lot of those. I'll talk about that in a minute. I just wanted you to see some proof how the lawyers now look at this court. Now, the lawyers come up to me. Frankly, I think they're trying to curry favor with me, and they tell me, oh, you're so much better and you're great. Don't take that with a grain of salt, but understand that there's a whole different approach now to anybody who comes in here. And that's what you brought me in for that. We've done it. Now, I want to tell you the best. I saved this for last. I've heard that everyone knows this. Everybody in the county knows the story. That's what I've been told. We had a case on a Wednesday in which the district attorney requested that I put bail on the defendant. I agreed. I felt it's appropriate. I said bail. So the defendant was not going to make bail. He's in handcuffs. They take him over to the jail. And the court, we have to file certain forms. For example, a securing order, all these technical things. Milena, she's always perfect. She takes care of it, does it. She's home having dinner, 6:30 at night. She gets a phone call from an assistant district attorney. And I want to say before I go further, I commend the district attorney's office for what they did. It's fantastic. The young relatively inexperienced district attorney who was working our court started reviewing her files from that day, and she realized that a one-page document that the district attorney has to file with the court, with the jail, it never got filed. Oops, clerical error. It happens, not perfect. Somebody meant to serve it. They thought they served it. The next one was, it didn't get served. That means that man should not be in jail. And I commend that assistant district attorney for pulling the fire alarm box. She saw there was a mistake. Let's correct it. Fantastic. Now, I submit to you, there are plenty of courts in this county that would have said, oh, we'll take care of it first thing tomorrow. That's not the way we work. So Milena calls me. I was at one of my the club on 119. She tells me the situation. I said, fine. What do we have to do to get this guy out? She explains it to me. I said, how do we want to do this? She says, she's running into the court office. I said, you want me to meet you? No, she'll take care of it. Call me and come to me. She not only did it, she had the brains, the wherewithal, called the jail, said, expect this, came to me. I signed off on it. Jail got it. This guy gets called down at 8 o'clock at night. What's going on? He says, they said, you're released. He was in shock. The next Wednesday, he shows up with his lawyer. He thinks the lawyer's Clarence Dower, the greatest lawyer. But the lawyer's a good lawyer and a straight guy. And he says to me in open court, how'd he get out? Milena explains the situation. We got him out. And I'm looking to the defendant. And I said to him, you know what the moral of this story is? We can put you in fast. We can take you out fast. It's all about your behavior. So let's see what happens here. You'll see what happens when it gets down to the plea or to the sentence. It's all up to you. But the fact remained that the word got out in this county. You want justice? Go to Elmsford. You want the truth? You go to Elmsford. You want immediate action? You go to Elmsford. No delay, no excuse. We do what's right. And I want to commend the clerk for that. And I want to commend the assistant district attorney. I had the easiest job. All you had to do was sign my name. They did it. They saw what's going on. But it shows everyone heard about it. Everyone knows what goes on here. They're proud to come here. It's such a sea change for you. I wish you could all sit in a few days. You would see it. It's incredible. But again, you have the difficult choice. You want to go back to the old days? Do you like what's happening here? And by the way, let me just say this. I'm dispensable. I have this established. You don't need me anymore. She's the court, Milena. When I take you in, I'll show you how it operates. You're going to realize, my Lord, it's incredible. It's very, very important. Some more things to tell you about. This court is no longer a Wednesday court. It's a 24-hour court. I'm sorry, Dan. I'm going to bring Dan into this. There's a case in our court called Village of Elmsford against Malera Associates or something like that. Malera, right? Supposed to clean up a spot. Hasn't done it. Promises going to do it again and again and again. Well, I'd say to you, what do you think a bad judge would do? What do you think a good judge would do? I think a good judge says, all right, you say you're going to clean it up. I'll be there the day before court. The judge himself is going to go to this premises. He's going to inspect this premises. You claim you're cleaning it up. I'll make the determination. Not Wednesday, Tuesday. I'm not 9 to 5. I'm 24/7. That's my job. That's what we do. Without hesitation. There's a change in the criminal law that's going to hit us very hard. I have to share it with you. Very hard. I didn't realize it myself. There's a section of the criminal procedure law called 180.80. What it says is, if you have a defendant charged with a felony and bail is set and this person doesn't post bail, you have an incarcerated defendant, can't make bail, charged with a felony. It puts the burden on the district attorney to hold a felony hearing within 120 hours. Very important. It doesn't say 5 days. 120 hours, that's it. clock is running tick, 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 tick. Here's what happened. We have doing a case on a Wednesday. I think the DA wants bail. I happen to agree. I think this person should have bail. Make sure they return. Now we're going to set a date. I said, all right, next Wednesday. DA says, you can't do next Wednesday. You forced me to be in violation of 18080. I got 120 hours. The guy was arrested the night before. We got to do this Monday. I said to her, Monday? You're kidding. No, I insist. I said to her, I'll have you know, this court is not part of the DA's office. You don't tell me when to operate. I have a lot of concerns here before I open up courts on different days. Court officers, court reporters. I got to find out if this facility is available. I don't own this building. I only work here with Village. She looked at me. She says, what are we going to do? I said, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to parole the guy. If you can't have the hearing, then I'm going to parole him. What else am I going to do? I'm not going to violate the law. It happened a second time. That was enough for me. We have a great assistant DA assigned here. She's a supervisor. She's great. I'm afraid I will lose her. She's so good. So I could talk to her. So I said to her, how can we have this? How could I as a judge make rulings that are blocking you from doing your job? There's no reason for this. She claimed, I forgot 2 towns. She told me that of the towns in her responsibility, 2 of them were now setting cases now on Monday, off what was traditionally an off day. So now, Wednesday, we have the same situation. I have to adjourn it till Monday. I have to come to you and say, I need the quorum. And now we're presuming it's 9:30. Now you have the cost of court reporter. You have to adjust the schedules, whatever, on constables to act as court officers. I have to bring this to your attention. This is going to happen more and more. That's the way the DA is responding to the obligations imposed on them. We cannot operate in a way that blocks the proper enforcement of the law or the proper administration of the law. If we have a reason, if it's a constitutional reason, that's different. We have no reason. I don't have a reason. And I wouldn't know what to say if someone said to me, why did you open the court on a Monday? Well, I'd excuse, I would dance. I wouldn't know what to say. But I have to bring that to your attention. And we can't control it. The officers are going to make arrests. They're arresting everybody. Things are happening. What do? Now, let me tell you the second problem. Nob Hill. There apparently are new owners to Nob Hill. And apparently they've decided that they really want to make the place nice. And they want to have a real nice development with nice tenants, paying rent. Everyone's good. Everyone's happy. That's what they've decided to do. And in that, I understand that they've been making repairs and doing things, but at the same token, they're filing eviction proceedings about everybody who owes, more than 2 months rent. A few weeks ago, we got 19 cases. 19 cases. Now, I can't force them to settle. I could encourage it. I could try to intermediate between tenant and landlord's attorneys. I've done that. We got very good results. But the landlord now is taking a different approach. They say, we come back, we make agreements, the people immediately violate it, we have to file motions, we come back, we try another agreement, they violate that, we come back, they disappear in the night. Or we make an agreement, they violate that, then I have an eviction, they come in with an order to show cause. They're saying we're running up all these legal fees. We're not going anywhere. So they've taken the position, we're not negotiating. That person owes us X dollars. Very simple. You have a legal defense, you have a factual defense, raise it. You don't, we want the premises. And we're ready for trial. So now we got landlord attorneys want trials. Logistically, I've been involved in some of the biggest jury trials in this country. I can do, but this is not jury trials. These trials, for me, is regular form. I know what to do. But for me to do the trials, for me to do the hearings off hours, that means I have to have my clerk next to me. That's 2-3 hours per trial. Instead of her doing what she has to do back there, which you're going to see, she's going to be here waiting for an exhibit to be handed up. And that's the new reality. In fact, this Wednesday, oh, by the way, I don't know how many of you know it. I've had people from your side of the building come over to me, all upset. Hey, I got a subpoena. I said, yeah, no problem. It's all right. It's just for a lawsuit. There's lawsuits. They got to file subpoenas. They have to get official documents in order to get ready for trial. So people got a little nervous. Says, no, it's not you. It's just official documents. It's okay. But they're gearing up. We're going to have trials here. There's a trial that they want to start where they're actually claiming that an apartment was affected by mold. And they claim they're going to have scientific testimony. I've done enough product liability litigation. That's no problem for me. But the point is, how long is this trial going to take? Look, what the resources of the court are just so much, and now it's got to change. It's got to grow. There's just so much people can do. So I wanted to make you aware of that. Now, in addition to all this other stuff, I was going to start with this. This is just the usual type of memo we get every day, all the time. Clerks and magistrates, new DMV regulations. I want you to see all the different backup that we have to follow. You get a clerk who's not working 100%, plenty of openings for error. Now, so I just wanted to bring the attention to this trend. I cannot predict how the trend continues. I can't even predict when it ends. I don't know. I think prepare for the worst case scenario. If it happens, you're ready. If it doesn't, okay, we're prepared. This says to me, this court's about to be inundated. It's happening all over the place. How do you want to handle it? That's up to you on the budget. I have to work with whatever you give me. But you need to know what's going on here. I want to just say something out of order because I'm so afraid I'm going to forget to say. I didn't know this. I don't know how many of you know this. I didn't know this. After I got sworn in, I got a packet of materials from the Office of Court Administration. And the first one told me that I'm personally liable for every penny that goes through that court in the back. Think about it. Things that happen Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday that I'm not aware of, I'm not here. I may be personally liable for the money. It doesn't matter if it was stolen, doesn't matter if it was lost, it doesn't matter. Nothing matters. They come to me, I got to write them a check. I want to tell you the truth. I almost resigned on the spot. Who in their right mind would ever open themselves up to personal liability, even if it was only limited to 50 cents? Allowing people you don't know to run money that you don't see? But I had a chance to work with her and see her work. Milena. Unbelievable. She's not my friend. I don't socialize with her. I've met her husband outside a couple of times. She brought her kids. I'm just telling you, I don't know how you did it, but you found the jewel. You've got the best. I can't tell you enough. Don't be penny wise, pound foolish. I know you have obligations. A lot of people want the money. I understand that. You have to answer. But now I would like to talk to you a little bit about the worst case, what could happen, the worst case scenario. When we're living at home, we get mail. It's a very simple process. You open up the mail, you decide if it's junk mail, you throw it out. You decide if it's a bill, and you keep it, you pay the bill, you maybe have another power. In a court, it's totally different. It's a whole process. You get an envelope, you open up, you have to see what it is. You have to look at it. Because depending on the document, there's a special process of numerous steps that have to be taken. It takes a few minutes. To get a motion, you got to review, make sure the other sides were served. You got to make sure you got the affidavit of service. You got to see what the calendar date is. You got to go into the calendar. It's unbelievable. Everyone seems to think it just comes in and gets done. Just imagine. Forget if you had an irresponsible clerk. That's bad enough. Imagine if you had no clerk. That's the worst case scenario. I can't imagine a worse case. Oh, one more thing. It's very important. Just as I want you to know, no one speaks for me. Only I speak for me. I am not speaking for Milena. I've never discussed this with her. She's not my friend. I've never discussed her future. I never discussed any of this. I have no idea what she's thinking. Zero. For many years, I was at a law firm, 11 lawyers, quite a few non-lawyers. And just my experience in private practice in human nature. That's all I'm saying. There are other municipalities who appreciate her. There are other municipalities who know her. She's very active. All the clerks know her. Everybody calls her. She's the focal point. If she leaves, if a clerk leaves, say that, put her aside. Clerk leaves. Court has to close down immediately. You can't open, who's going to open the mail? Who knows the clerk steps to process all this? Who's going to handle orders to show cause when a tenant's about to be evicted and they're freaking out and they need it signed? Who's going to review it? Who's going to tell the judge? Who's going to open up the envelopes that require judges signing for warrants, for warrants of eviction, for judgments? I can go on and on. You can just imagine what's going to happen. Now, again, let me just work this scenario. 3-4 months go by. We don't have a clerk. What do? Close the court. Now we wait. I was told there's a list. Get people off the list. You call up number one. Number one says I took a job. Call up number two. I took a job. Call up number three. Number three comes in. Well, I don't show up until 9:15. I got to take my kids. I leave at 4:30. I don't work weekends. You're no good. Next one. Number four comes in. You have any experience? No, but I passed the test. Oh, where have you worked before? That's very nice. I said, you understand it's a 24/7. I don't work 24/7. I'm paid 9 to 5. I don't work weekends. Okay. Now, what are you doing? You're waiting. You're waiting, and tick, tick, every day goes by, and that's closed. Now, when I close I have to close, if it gets to that, I have to call the Office of Court Administration. They want to know why I'm doing what I'm doing. I got to explain it to them. And then it's the ball's in their lap. What does that do to your reputation? How many developers, how many real estate people are ever going to invest in this town, in this village, when they know that if we close, if we're not working efficiently, that they can't evict the people, or at least people have their day in court? What do you think is going to happen? Well, what do you think is going to happen to Nob Hill? What do you think is going to happen in general? When you have a developer who wants to do something right, okay, and he sees he's playing with a Mickey Mouse court, please. We all know what money moves. They'll sell it and go elsewhere. And you'll have a doom loop, as they say. It'll be a death spiral. You don't need that. And so I urge you to understand what's happening here in this court. Now, let me tell you a little bit about the money. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll save the money for last. Let me get back to Milena. I told you last weekend, I didn't tell you the whole story. Last Friday night, when we were called about the fact that the defendant was going to be released, we had a warrant on him. Police were going to go pick him up. They wanted to schedule it. I called Milena. Melena's father-in-law is 94 years old and lived with the family. He died that night at 3 a.m. They are Muslims. They had to bury him that day. Here I am in the late afternoon calling her, not knowing about it. I mentioned to him about her arraignment. Immediately apologized. Immediately, don't worry, I'll take care of it. Okay? I come here Saturday morning at 9:15 to do the arraignment, and she was here. Seriously, how many people you know would do that? Show dedication, loyalty. She lives here in Elmsford. She came out because she felt it was her job. And I said to her, when I saw it, I started crying. I said, what are you doing here? Get out. She says, no, I'll do this. I'll go back to my family. We'll grieve. I'll take care of my job. So help me God. Now, you want to deal with this? I think I urge you, see your way through. You have to hear her, how she deals with other people in the criminal justice system, the court system, people who stand on bureaucracy and don't want to do anything, and they always have their reasons. They do anything for her. Lawyers love talking to her because she's pleasant, she's nice, she's professional. We've worked together. She knows what we have to do in certain cases. No problem. Lawyers call up, they're worried there might be a tic-tac judge. They got a problem, they're all upset. No problem. We're professionals. We know exactly what the rules are. We're off the hook. We'll let you know when to come back. No problem. They love dealing with her. Everybody, I hear it all over the place. When people come to this window, litigants, they're agitated, they don't know the system, and you have to be very patient. You have to be smooth, understanding, considerate. She's all of that. I've seen clerks like 111 over Martin Luther King Boulevard, Supreme Court. Everybody knows what they're like. Nobody wants to work with them. They end up getting shuttled till they find a desk in the corner somewhere and get rid of them. But they don't deal with the public. They just deal with lawyers and the judge. She deals with the public, and she's fantastic. You got one clerk who's a little abrupt, a little nasty. You'll see what happens. It'll be a nightmare. I understand you're going to work off a list. I understand there's this premise that all clerks are the same. They're not. They're not machines. It's not like you go to a car dealership, you can buy the same car, red or blue. All that list means is they pass the test to move the forms. It doesn't test their laziness or dedication, professionalism, loyalty, hard work. None of that's tested. So please don't think you're just going to bring in another cookie cutter, put them in and say, oh, everything's good. It's not going to happen. Look what happened with the judges. That's why my friends reached out to me. You had that judge, but now you have me. Night and day. Now, if I didn't know what this process was going to be, it's my only time I'll be here. I was expecting a little bit more cooperative. I thought we would sit down and as a team, I would tell you what my concerns are, what my minimums, what I think is essential, what I think is not. I would have worked. So let me just say this. She's more essential than anyone in the court, including me, including whoever the deputy is. You can get other judges, you can get other deputies, but remember, that clerk is the court. And whoever you got as a presiding judge is personally liable. Good luck on that. So I ask you, don't be penny wise, pound foolish in view of the big budget. I have a chart here. I'd like to have it marked in the record. Do you do that? Can I have it official? I'd like you to all have a copy. If I may, can I present copies? Dan, will you have this placed in the record? I thought, again, wrong, fully. I thought this was going to be a cooperative venture for going forward to work up a budget. So at the last minute, I said to the clerk and the assistant clerk, I want you to call other courts. I want you to speak to other clerks. I want you to find out the numbers. This is the chart that they constructed. They informed me that they got this information from other clerks. Now, a little while ago, sitting here, Mr. Mills gave me his charts. And frankly, I haven't really had a chance to look at them. I mean, last minute stuff. As a lawyer, I could tell you, as a judge, I could tell you that's objectionable. You never do ambushes like that last minute. This is not a secret society. I don't know why you guys didn't give me this information. You just gave it to me. Just now. Wait, I showed it to you Wednesday, right? Okay, let's forget Wednesday. Right, so the point is that they're very close. I noticed just a couple of different differences. I would have thought that if we had that, to clear it up, just so you have a base, so you know what to do, you would say to me, all right, we've had the village administrators make the calls, we've had the clerks make the calls, we want you to call the judges now. Let's find out what the real number is. Why do we have discrepancies? And then you would have the numbers. So I've given you the numbers that the clerks gave me. Mr. Mills has given you his numbers. And again, on a short read, there's some discrepancy, some are off, but the point is, I wanted you to have the actual right numbers where that we could all agree on, and we could go forward from there. There's also other differences between the charts, but that's not, in my opinion, it's not significant. The point is you have your numbers. So I want to thank you for listening to my presentation. I would invite you now to come back with me. Let me show you the facility so you could understand what I'm saying to you in real detail. And then I'll answer any and all questions on any topic you have gladly. I'm an open book. Just ask me, I'll tell you. Easy. In fact, if you'd like to ask me now, I'll answer any questions you have. Anything. Okay.
We've been more or less working on this budget since February.
Okay.
This is the first we've heard of this. And you said, why did we blindside you?
No, but this is the first I've heard of anything. Let me tell you what I had to do. In my proposed budget, what I did was I put down $7,500 for the deputy. I reduced it down. That wasn't the number. I did that to get attention. I went to both Mr. Mills, I went to the mayor, I said, I don't need a deputy. I wanted to shake things up. I wanted people to get me involved. They both said the same thing to me. You're taking a deputy. It's by law. Okay. I walked out. Okay. I thought it would trigger. I thought people would come to me. Let's talk. Not about the identity of the deputy, but let's talk the numbers. So I threw in Fugazi numbers for the judge, chief judge, for the presiding judge, and the deputy judge. But the numbers are very sincere, what I'm requesting. Clerks. Now, I understood, I didn't know this, I was told this, that by law, the presiding judge's salary has to remain the same. Great, makes it real easy. I don't want to, you shouldn't give the presiding judge this year a raise. I would strongly suggest you watch the trends this year, and you'll make adjustments if you feel it's required and necessary, however you do it next year. But I don't think people really understand the concept of the court. The presiding judge and the deputy judge and the clerk have to work as a team in unison. Very important. when you get a real deputy judge, they work as hard as the presiding judge. The presiding judge is not the boss of the deputy judge. I don't tell him how to practice. I don't tell him what rulings he makes. He decides for himself. He signs the orders. He gets appealed. I do things my way. But you have to have a deputy who knows this litigation, who knows how to practice, who knows law, who's more than willing to work, who's dedicated, who gets a phone call at 10 after 7 from the police saying, we need you for an arraignment. He's not to say, I'm busy. Too many times this court, I've heard it, before I got here,
Can I-
said we're busy. Am I too long?
No. But we're gonna save the associate justice
Yeah.
conversation. for
Well,
another day.
what I'm trying to say was, I put down these ridiculous numbers for the presiding judge and the deputy judge to get your attention. I just wanted to sit down and just say, this is what I'm thinking. You do what you have to do. But if you need me to get you more information, gladly. That's all.
Judge,
So now I'm sorry.
prior to your fugazi numbers that you provided.
Yeah.
Did you ask to be involved in the process?
Yeah. I thought I was involved. I was walking around. What do we do?
So you never received any communication about?
Here I am.
About your budget numbers?
You got it. Here I am.
I'm asking throughout.
Yes,
So-
I have got nothing. Here I am. I just got numbers.
So when you.
Wednesday, I got an earful, but right now I got numbers.
So when you provided these numbers,
Uh-huh.
was that on your own accord or did somebody request? those
No,
numbers?
I did it because I figured I'm asking for money for the clerks. I think I should know where it stands in surrounding areas.
When did you first ask for the money for the clerks?
When did I have them put this
No,
this there?
when you first made the request for
Oh,
those numbers.
I don't know. I don't know what the date of
Like
the
submitted
written.
it to,
Yeah, well, it was
Fine.
submitted to whoever Melena
Right.
put it into. I don't know the date of it.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
no, that's okay.
I don't know.
Was that, would you say it was weeks ago, months ago,
Weeks.
weeks ago?
I wouldn't
Okay.
say months.
So at least 4 to 5 weeks ago?
Think so, but I think you got to look at the date. I don't want to.
I just want to assuage your
That's okay.
concerns a little bit. Your involvement in the process. Yeah,
Mhm.
okay. So your involvement in the process was not different from any other department in this village. I don't want you to think as if
Well,
you weren't involved in the process. The process did involve you and that was the method by which it happened.
until now, that you explained that, I thought that. Now you explained it. But remember, this is not for me. I've worked very hard to try to elevate the court because that's what I was told they needed. Okay. It's up to you.
And I also want, you had mentioned at the beginning that you had to address the elephant in the room. I just want you to know, I didn't know there was an elephant in the room. until you
Great.
Told me.
Good,
So.
good.
There's a herd now, but I.
Well,
did
let's
not
put
know
it
that there was
aside.
An elephant in the room.
Let's put
so
it aside.
To assuage your concerns on that
Okay,
one.
good. Let's put it aside. I don't want to hear, I don't want that to, that's just,
Were you aware of what the role entailed before you ran?
Sorry?
Were you aware of what the role of village justice entailed, the extent of the role before you ran?
well, it's interesting when you say extent. As a lawyer, I have to be very technical. So there's what lawyers might understand the extent
Sure.
and what civilians.
Mhm.
I did not know that I would be personally liable. I was told, I didn't do a study. My friends came to me. I said, no problem. I didn't do a study. They said to me, we do VTL, domestic relations, environmental, et cetera. And lieutenant, I said, no problem. Criminal, I can handle that. I explained to them, they knew who my background was. But the actual inner workings of the court, which is what I'm revealing to you, there's no way to know unless another judge would tell me.
Yeah.
And I didn't speak to any other judges, although I know a few of them from, practicing in Westchester. But, so all I'm trying to do, I don't want to ruffle feathers. I don't want to disrespect anybody. I want to cooperate. I'm a teammate. I just, please understand what could happen. I know human nature. So I could just tell you, please, please. And I would like, if you'd be willing to, is that appropriate? Can I invite the three in the back? I can't invite the fourth on TV. I'm sorry. We're presiding Wednesday. Can you come to court Wednesday morning? Tomorrow morning. I'll come in tomorrow morning. I'm sorry I kept these people. I wasn't looking back behind me. I
No.
apologize. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I just have a few more because
Sure.
something you said kind of did lead me into my
Yeah.
next question.
Yes.
Um, have you connected with your fellow village justices regarding their trends or caseloads, their court schedules, their operations, their process, their procedures?
The reason, well, we haven't, a couple of times early on, we did. But we're totally familiar with all the procedures. The trends are brand new, unique to Elmsford, for example, Nob Hill, 19, maybe 17. I'm sorry, I'm a little old. A lot of cases coming in. This thing with the 18080 was a bombshell to me. And then the assistant told me, again, I can't remember the name, 2 other towns they were adding extra court dates. What do? Remember, every time we have to use this court, you got to have court reporters, you got to have court officers. It's, I'm sorry, any other?
So do you believe the volume is beyond the capacity of this court?
No. It's not the volume.
Not the volume.
No.
What is it?
No, it's the fact that the court is no longer a Wednesday morning court. It's no longer just a window to take money. It's a full service court that's going to be operating Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We don't know yet which days, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. They're going to be sprung on us depending on the criminal case, depending on the civil lawyer who wants the trial, what dates work for them. I didn't think I was going to do an inspection. All right, it has to be done. I'll do it. All right, do it Tuesday, day before court. This way, the defendant can't tell me that he did it after I was there. Make sure. But the question is, if I think small term, ticky-tack, 9 to 5, this is our court, yeah, then there's too much volume because we're not working. But if you're professional, if you swore an oath to do your best, and you're not afraid to do your best, you're not afraid to do the work, do it. And that's what you have here now. I don't want to, I'm just saying to you, so it's not volume. We're willing to do the work. I need you to make sure the court can process it. That's what this is about. Again, I'm dispensable. You can get rid of me in a minute. You can replace me. She's a different issue. Get a good deputy, a real deputy, a real good lawyer. I like to think along my background. Now you have tremendous coverage on any day, on any issue. You don't have to worry about a thing. Police know they got it. Anyone else coordinating around the county, fine. So I just wanted to give you that. I have to admit, since I was elected, no one's come to me to ask me about how the court operates, how it works. I'm hearing all this mythology. I don't know where you guys get these ideas from what I heard. I'm an open book. I want to show you everything. I'll open the doors. I'll show anything, answer any question you got. And then I know whatever decision you make, whether I agree or disagree, you make the right decision. I know that. I might not like it, but it's the right decision, and I'm going to live with it. But I just want to ring that fire alarm box now, and I'm going to put you under the gun here. You have an issue. So, would you like to see the facility? There's no food or drinks involved, but I'll take you in the back and show it. Tomorrow? Would you care to see it tomorrow? Anytime. When would you like to see it?
I mean,
Nope.
unless it's changed drastically.
Why don't you come in the back and see? You won't know until you look. Come on, take a look.
Last year, I've seen it,
Take a look now.
but I'm not, I mean, there's a whole agenda.
Mr.
here.
Evans?
You be the judge.
Mr. Evans, I'd like you to think that I'm a good lawyer. That's why I'm willing to show you everything. If I was a bad lawyer, I'd try to hide my cards, right? I wouldn't want you to see anything.
Well, counselor, I'm not the bar, so.
No, I know
make
that.
Determination, not me.
But the fact is, I want you to see back there. Things have changed. I want you to look at it. It's an eye opener. But all right, you don't have to whenever you want to. But I just want you to know this court's an open book. We're transparent. Any questions, anytime, whatever's done, we're here. I think that's what the people of Elmsford deserve. I promised that I would do that for you. I think we've delivered. Any other questions?
So, for the budget, thank you for your presentation to
Thank
explain to us.
you.
how
Mr.
the
Mayor,
court doesn't-
the numbers I put in for the judges are ridiculous. You should not take them serious. If you want to know what numbers I think you should do, I'll tell you. But those would to get attention. I wanted to get into the process. But the numbers I gave you for the clerk, I really believe you should do it. That's my opinion. I mean, sincerely, I didn't mean it to, I start high and negotiate low. No, that's the number. I didn't know what else to do. And by the way, I've never been in a budget process before. I didn't know how to do it. I didn't think, starting high and negotiating like I do in a court, that's not respectful. And that's not professional. So I gave it the extra. The other two numbers, personally, I think the presiding judge, 35, the deputy judge, 40. And I'll tell you one better. You should be thinking that you're going to pay at least 90,000 after I'm gone, 25. They get a presiding judge and a deputy judge. Give the presiding 50, give the deputy 40. When you see how a court works, when you have some real lawyers coordinating, do you proud. That's what we tried to do. That's what I really think of the numbers. On the other hand, the clerk numbers, I'm sincere in those. May not agree, but I'm sincere.
Okay, so
Thank you for the time.
you're welcome. Thank you for, again,
Please.
your presentation on explaining how busy the court is and how it's evolved over the years. I see it. I understand that.
Mhm.
What I am confused about is, forgive me,
Yeah, no. it's
um,
all right.
did you see the budget that is the tentative budget on what we increased the two clerks to?
I confess, I took a fast read of it, but I really didn't pay any attention
No,
because
that's fair.
I
I'm
was
just
doing this stuff.
Curious if you did. So my next question would be is, I see the, surveys from the other court clerks, and thank you.
You mean that the clerks gave me to give to you?
Correct.
Right, those are the two different.
And so we have that. So I see what,
Mhm.
our neighboring villages, including our sister village, Ardsley, is doing.
Mhm.
What is the actual proposed numbers that you want?
I have it. Oh, I haven't seen this. Oh, this. Excuse me?
I mean, you showed us what the other ones are making. Do you have a number that you're recommending the clerks go to?
Yes, didn't I put it in my budget request? I didn't even,
It's in there?
what the hell is this?
Okay. But I mean, that's what he's standing, that's what he's for today. That's what you're proposing, other than what you submitted?
Mr. Mayor, I've never seen this before. And I'm not going to start looking at it right now. I don't know what this means. What? So,
I could justify the budget, the tentative budget, I can explain it to you.
but can I
The
just do
tentative
one?
budget, the tentative budget basically mirrors the court that has been operating over the past 12 months. If you look at the budget, as you guys know, the column to the left is the actual expenditures for the prior year. The column in the middle is the budget for current year, which is $223,100. And then the new budget was $238,050, which is basically increase of the court clerk salary by over 9% and an increase in the deputy court clerk of almost 5%. Everything else pretty much stayed the same. And that's the differences. And I appreciate the judge's candor with how busy the court is. But what I didn't hear is if the court's going to be doing more, going to be doing so much more, going to be more busy, then lines besides the salary lines should all be increasing. And I didn't hear any of that.
Well,
Uh,
that's what I've been saying to you. You're going to have additional costs.
So
But
the
how can you
equipment,
ha-
the equipment should go up, the printing and supplies would go up then, the stenographer would go up, the telephone would go up, postage would go up, computer services would go up, all of those items would go up. The associated costs into the operating of the building would go up,
Mm-hmm.
but none of that in his budget that he proposed to us, none of that was included.
You know, it's interesting here. I just want to say something.
So I can't just make it up, sir.
I just looked at this. And what I think is very interesting is the fact that the printing and supplies number. There are several boxes of records of the court that are in the back. And the clerk won a grant of many thousands of dollars from the Office of Court Administration. And their approved vendor is going to pick up those boxes, scan them, and shred them to make room. That's how much money she saved you by using her brains and applying and getting a grant. These numbers have to go up. And I agree with them. I didn't know there's a deadline for this. It's like court with this statute of limitations. You have deadlines, you have to do things. No one told me this. I've never seen this. Mike just mentioned it. I looked at the cover. It says March 26th, 2024. I don't understand. Was this emailed to my judge
It's
account?
given to all the departments.
Was it emailed to my judge account?
It was
And
put in
why-
the mailbox inside,
All right. There is,
just
no-
like it was for him,
all right,
him,
there
him,
is notice,
and him, and him.
there is real notice, and there is plain notice. I'm sorry. I expected real notice. I expected us to operate as professionals. I would have thought I would think you drop off a copy. There's a mailbox. I got to look mailboxes. I'm right there. This is a game I don't play as a judge. I don't play as a lawyer. You decide what you want to do. Now, here's the problem, and I think he's really right on this. Even if you agree with me, how do you budget for anticipated extra court dates when we don't know how many we're going to need? How do you budget for stenographers, reporters, just everything Mr. Mills said? He's right. But that's what we have to do. Because if you don't, then look what you're facing. I'm glad I don't have your job. You have to figure this out. I don't. If you want my work or you want me to sit down with you, gladly, I'll work with you. I'll explain to you what it costs and things. But I agree with him. These numbers can't work now with the trend. What do you do? That's why I wanted to speak with you guys. It's tough. I don't envy you. All right. I want to thank you very, very much for the opportunity. Again, you're invited to come in the back anytime. You see the truth of what's going on. And anytime you have any questions, you want me back for any reason, anytime, any day, I'm available. I'm at your call. Thank you all.
Thank you, Judge. Trustee Henry, any other changes to the budget?
No, sir.
Thank you, sir. Trustee Coffee?
No, sir.
Thank you, sir. Trustee Evans?
I don't have any changes, but are we discussing the proposal that was just made?
Yeah, that would be your question if you
Okay.
want to change it.
No, I don't. At our last board meeting, we had a resident stand up during the budget hearing and spoke and talked about and asked us to find places that if we could cut. He stood here and literally talked about the fact that he thinks it's a good budget, but he's just living on a fixed income and every dollar in this budget counts for him and it matters to how he's going to be able to live his life. This budget is not a game to me. These numbers are not games to me. This is the livelihood of the people who pay the taxes in this community, and I do not take kindly to fugazi numbers being thrown out there. That is unacceptable. And when one states, I don't play games, that's a game. And it's an unacceptable game. And our community deserves better than having fugazi budget numbers thrown at them to prove a point. And on behalf of this community, I feel entirely disrespected. That's what I have to say about that.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask you next. Thank you.
Sid, I sent this to you earlier. The, handed out, I emailed you right before the meeting, the budget modifications that you guys all talked about on April 15th,
Yes, I have it. Thank you.
which is the add-ons for the IT, the rec, and then how we're paying for that.
Yes.
The one number I can update with a real number with these, which you have on the sheet down there that it 1.91 with the 11 cut in the prior thing would be 1.83. Oh, my brain's not that fast. It's the computer.
Council, anything to add? Department heads, anybody add the comments about the budget? Did we receive any comments?
No, sir.
Thank you. Okay, next is review the fire department, fire council approved bylaws amendment. Chief? You want to start on that? Trustee Henry, you want to talk first about the amendments?
The amendment that was forwarded to me with reported unanimous approval from the fire council was to eliminate the requirement of firefighter 2 for all ranks of the department. And the reason stated was that the class is not offered that often. It's very hard to for the members to get registered in the class, and that it is basically a repetition of firefighter 1 with more hands-on experience. So the department felt that in view of the lack of availability of the class being offered, that it should be eliminated. Certainly encouraged to attend when the class is available, but not as a requirement.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else want to?
Trustee Henry said it all.
He always does. Trustee Henry, okay to put that on the agenda?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Trustee Coffee?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Trustee Evans?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Motion to adjourn the work session?
So move.
In favor? Opposed? Carried? Please rise and follow me to pledge allegiance.